Okay, so there's been a few days now since this giant announcement came about that had a lot of the anime community and even somewhat of the industry a little bit taken back, and some people were scared, some people were worried, some people were just massively confused, and they still are. And pretty much the announcement is that Funimation, aka the largest anime distribution company in North America, were bought out by Sony. I believe it's Sony Pictures Television Networks. They were bought out by them, and people are like, well, what does this all mean? Does this mean that we're gonna have, like, you know, crazy stuff happening to our dubs and stuff like that? So a lot of concern, and to be fair, it's just because you never know when a big company like Sony gets involved, what's gonna happen to, you know, Funimation, what's gonna happen to any company that they buy out for that matter, because it's a pretty big deal. Especially, again, Funimation, they're the same company, in case you don't know, they're the ones that got Dragon Ball Z, GT, you know, Super, the Dragon Ball franchise as a whole. They have a lot of big titles, One Piece, you know, they're huge, so it kind of makes people worried and shit like that. But there's been more information released, and I was skeptical at first to talk about this because I wanted to see exactly what this all meant and what was going on. Personally, from the time I heard it, immediately I thought, okay, you know, this could be a bad thing, but at the same time, you got to think one big thing, and we'll get into the press release that they released recently as well, but you got to think about one big thing. If you've been paying attention to the anime scene, there's been a couple of companies that have been coming for anime, you know what I'm saying? They've been coming to grab it all, and the deals, so to speak, or, you know, the way they're distributing it is not all that good as of right now. One of them mainly being Amazon with their anime strike. Their program is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, you know, they have it so where you have to pay crazy amounts of money in order to get the anime section of their catalog or whatnot, and they've been licensing a lot of the new stuff. So, you know, you have them. Then you also got Netflix, even though Netflix, I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to do shit because they're like $20 billion in debt. So there's that. But Amazon's anime strike has been a big worry. And companies like Funimation, well, Funimation, yeah, they got some money, you know, of course they got money, and likewise with Viz Media and shit like that, and a couple other companies, they just can't compete. Amazon has oodles and boodles and toodles of money, you know what I'm saying? They got money dripping out their butt cheeks. The executive of Amazon gets out of his desk and there's just money pouring out of his asshole, you know what I mean? So it's a really hard thing for them to do, to try and compete. I thought, well, shit, if Sony gets involved and Sony has Funimation, we got big pockets, because Sony got money too, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure Sony got more money than Amazon, but I don't know, because I did hear some big reports about Amazon being like one of the highest, you know, grossing companies, some shit. But regardless, Sony backing Funimation is a very good thing because we have big money now. But from my understanding, what happened, in case people are still like kind of confused, Sony bought 95% of Funimation, which still gave 5% to the founder, I believe, Gen Fukunaga, the president. You know, he's the guy that started it all, in case you don't know about Gen Fukunaga. He's the reason why we got Dragon Ball over here, and he's probably, you know, you could credit him a lot for bringing anime to the West, because yes, anime was coming out at that given point. There was, you know, quite a few anime, but of course Dragon Ball Z was the one that exploded on the scene and shit like that. So very, very big deal. The fact that he only has 5% now does worry me still. Like, even though we got all this information and shit like that, we got a lot of good stuff, it still worries me, because you never know with big companies, right? You know, they're gonna do what they want at the end of the day, especially if they paid oodles and boodles of money for this. I believe they paid like close to 150 mil for Funimation, something like that. So they're gonna do whatever they want at the end of the day. But from my understanding, it seems as though they just bought Funimation, and maybe we have financial backing now, but again, from my understanding, it seems as though they're pretty much going to leave Funimation the fuck alone. They're going to allow them to continue as they've been. Funimation is still going to have the same president, Gen Fukunaga. He's still going to stay on board, and remember, at the very least, he still owns 5% of the company, so it's not completely taken away from him and, you know, the people that started all this shit, whatever. So, you know, he's still involved, but they're going to seemingly just be a financial backing. Yes, they own Funimation. Yes, in the end of the day, they can do whatever the fuck they want, but from what Funimation has said, and they even, you know, hit up people like myself that are partners with them and whatnot, it seems as though they're going to be left the fuck alone. But let's read the press release, and we'll talk a little bit more. Funimation agrees to be acquired by Sony Pictures Television Networks. Founder Gen Fukunaga started Funimation with a vision and a mission to make anime as accessible as possible to fans across the world. In the 23 years since we began, we have been committed to creating anime experiences fans love, from bringing Dragon Ball to the US, to bringing the best anime to home video and theaters, to simul-dubs that bring episodes in English to fans within 2 weeks after they air in Japan, to the world's largest dubbing streaming streaming catalog on Funimation Now. Today we announced that Funimation has agreed to sell a substantial majority stake to Sony Pictures Television Networks. Sony Pictures Television Networks is one of the premium names in entertainment and shares our vision to deliver anime to fans globally across all screens and platforms. And then there was a couple of questions that people had, so let's read some of the questions and the answers in case, you want to know what the fuck, maybe you got a question and you're like, hey, are they going to answer it? Let's see. Will the Funimation team change? Currently, our plan is for Funimation to operate as it has to date. Gen Fukunaga will remain CEO, and the team will continue to deliver the best anime experiences we can to you, so nothing's really changing there. Is this a partnership, merger, or an acquisition? Funimation, again, they agreed to sell all their rights, so, it's an acquisition, essentially. How is this acquisition related to Aniplex? This transaction does not involve Aniplex. Now, the reason that question was brought up, in case people are unfamiliar, Aniplex is a big distributor over here in the US as well. They're pretty big or whatever, but the big thing about Aniplex is their prices are absolutely outrageously high. And Funimation, while sometimes anime can be a bit pricey, like nobody want to pay 50, 60 bucks for a 12 episode anime or whatever, that's still a steal compared to what Aniplex does. You be paying $40 to $50 for 4 episodes with an Aniplex release. So the fact that they're kind of saying, hey, yeah, we're under the same umbrella, because I believe Sony owns Aniplex over here, it's like, we're under the same umbrella, but it's got shit to do with them. So hopefully our prices will stay the same, but let's continue reading. What does this mean for your products and services? Funimation remains committed to making our physical and digital products as accessible to fans as possible, and we have no plans to change pricing and placement of our physical or digital product. Funimation Now will remain the same price and will be available in all of its current territories. Will this delay any release of any content? There will be no impact to our simple dub, home video releases, or theatrical schedules. Will this affect the production or quality? I mean, there's so many questions, like, if anything, this could be better. This is not really going to affect anything. Does this mean Funimation will be buying more or less anime? Probably means, they gave us an answer, but more than likely means they're not going to, get less anime. They're more than likely going to get more. How does this affect the Funimation Now subscription? There'll be no change. Does this mean Funimation content will be available on Crackle or PlayStation View? As of right now, nothing's changing from what I see, but you never know. With Sony adding it, maybe they will put it on there, extra promo and extra platform. What does this mean for fans outside the US? We're already delivering anime to fans in the UK, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand through Funimation Now. Service to these regions will not change because of this deal. And does this change your Crunchyroll VR partnership? There's no changes to our existing partnership or to content available from Funimation on either service. Crunchyroll will continue, blah, blah, blah. So essentially what I said earlier in this video, pretty much nothing is changing. So everybody that's going crazy acting like this wildfire right now, like, holy shit, Sony's gonna ruin anime, English dubs are gone forever. Relax. Now, again, I'm not completely worry-free, because like I've said throughout this video, you never fucking know with these companies. They can have an agenda of their own, you never know, but they're not gonna pay upwards of $140–50 million to see a company burn to the ground. If Funimation's been doing it up until this point, they got Dragon Ball Super, big anime over here. I would argue at this point with Naruto ending, and we got Boruto and shit, but it's different, whatever. Dragon Ball is absolutely, and I think it's always been anyway, Dragon Ball Super especially though, is the biggest ongoing anime, period. Funimation has that. They've been doing great up until this point. Sony is not going to do anything to fuck it up. I hope that they don't think that their ideas and their little changes might, oh, well, we can do this and that. Like, from what it seems like, Funimation is going to be left the fuck alone, which is great. I mean, you never know in the future or whatever, and it is a little bit like, oh man, I love seeing companies, especially something of a medium that I love so much. I love seeing that Funimation was self-owned, Gen Fukunaga had it, and in fact, one thing that I did want to bring up, because people are like, oh, this is the end when companies buy out another company, but in 2005, if I'm not mistaken, Funimation was bought out at one given point, 2005, by Navarre Corporation, and they stood under their umbrella for 6 years, and I mean, things changed here or there. The anime industry as a whole changed from 2005 onward, but they still were good, and they bought themselves out in 2011, and they became independent once again. So, I think, honestly, for the most part, until we see otherwise, this is nothing but a good thing. As long as they leave Funimation the fuck alone, the best thing that comes out of this is, hey, anime strike from, Amazon and, Netflix and shit like that. they can't fuck with us because we got Sony saying, oh, you know, y'all want to bid this? Yo, we got that Sony money, bro. We bidding this. Give us that anime. So it's going to be, in my opinion, a win-win situation all across the board, and it's going to expand Funimation as well. And Sony got deep avenues of all sorts of places, so it's going to expand anime. In my opinion, there's nothing really bad as of right now. Again, we see something coming, you know, and fucking shit up, I'll let y'all know. But as of right now, I personally think it's awesome. Kind of curious what you guys think about this, though. Do you think that this is a bad move from Funimation? Do you think this is going to ruin anything again? From what they said in their press release, nothing's changing. It's just that they have big pockets behind them now, right? And what do you think about Sony, I guess, diving into the anime market by buying Funimation? You think this is going to help anime expand even further now that, you know, they got Sony backing them and Sony got big ties? Or what is your thoughts on this? The biggest thing, though, out of all of this that I wanted this video to send a message to is there's no reason to panic. There's no reason for people to be scared. There's not the death of anime in any shape or form. Seems as though Funimation is going to carry on business as usual, if not better. So, really cool shit there. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.